everyone, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Amanda Ziadeh with WashingtonExec, and joining me today to discuss ways in which the government contracting community is recognizing and supporting the veteran community is Larry Foor, Senior Vice President of Axient's Defense Systems segment. Thank you so much for being here today, Larry.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to highlight what our company is doing, our employees are doing, and some of our favorite veterans organizations. And we have a lot of them.
Awesome, wonderful. Well, I'm excited to get into it. So, Larry, my first question for you is your company kicking off any specific initiatives for Veterans Day, or does your company recognize or work with the veteran community throughout the year?
We work with the veterans community throughout the year, and we are also doing at least one specific initiative for Veterans Day. I'm here in Huntsville, Alabama, which is a very supportive community of veterans. So there's a lot of events that go on the whole week here that we participate in. But within the company, during the month of November, every day in November, our Axient Central page and our social media spotlights a veteran in the company each day. And we highlight their contributions in service during their time in service and how they continue to serve our customers today. Throughout the year, really, there's 5 things I'd like to talk to you about that we do. One is accelerators in action. That's a cute play on words with our Axient name. But that is our participative volunteer activities, if you will, which is one of my favorites. And that's where we round up our employees and work with charities and give our time. That includes Valor Service Dogs, the Tut Fan Veterans Home, the North Alabama Veterans and Fraternal Organization Coalition, Operation Gratitude, and the Fisher House. The second thing, we have Axient in action, which is our employee-run nonprofit that provides grants to 501c3s like still serving veterans. The third thing we do, we sponsor veteran and military meet and greets at conferences that we attend. A fourth thing we do, another thing we do, we're active members of many warfighter and veteran support organizations like the American Veterans Association and the United States Army, Association in the United States Army, and many others. And the last thing we do, we have 20% of our workforce is veterans. We know that veterans are great workers, and we want to get as many of them as we can. So we participate in recruiting events that are veteran-focused throughout the year. So far in 2023, we've done 8 of those veteran-focused recruiting events.
Wow, that's awesome. And I definitely want to get into the ways in which the veteran community is involved in GovCon later. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask, would you like to share any innovative or ongoing work that your company is doing to support the VA or the veterans community as a whole? And what role do you play in these efforts? And does the rest of the company also get involved?
So that's a good question. And I'd like to tell you about something that I find unique to Axient. I imagine others do it too, but it was for me personally. We have a dedicated director of community relations whose focus is on participative charity events for our employees and who screens 501c3s and other charitable organizations for us. I never had that service available to me before. I'm one that personally, I give to the big charities, but I really like being able to see where my money is going and that it's going to a good cause and the effect that it has. And I never really had any place I could call up. As an executive, I got lots of offers continuously. Never really had any place I knew where I could go and say, hey, what are the best options among these and help me understand what's happening with that. Our director of community relations is dedicated to that job, and our employees love it, okay? Number one, most of the things that she reviews and screens come from recommendations of our employees. So they get to have their favorite charity events looked at by the company as something that the company can either rally for support or blast out that information to thousands of employees in our company and amplify it for them like that. We do a number of community events coordinated by the company for that. But there's limits to what we can do there. Some of those things happen during the work week. And so beyond that, at least once a week, she will send out something she screened just to make other employees aware of it. A lot of times, it can be very personal what charities and stuff you like. And so that's a great thing our employees love. It gets the word out about more charities, but you get that opportunity to have it kind of looked at and look at the legitimacy of it, if I can.
Yeah.
And I appreciate and I know our employees do.
Right. Awesome. Well, Larry, you mentioned that 24% of Axient's workforce is veterans. And considering that the government contracting industry and many companies like Axient is made up of veteran employees, why is it important to you and to your company to continue recognizing veterans and supporting them and their families around Veterans Day and as you mentioned, throughout the year?
So, so we're 20% veteran. In 2023, 25% of our hires are veterans. Greater than 70% of our work is for the Department of Defense. Okay, so the connection to the military community is in our corporate blood, if you will. But for me personally, and what stands out, and I think a lot of our employees, I look at it as three types of charities. There are financial charities that you can give your money to. There are participative charities that the employees can be involved with too, and we do that. And some of those are things like we'll go on a Saturday morning with a great organization here and build beds for disadvantaged children. And it's an operation that would make Henry Ford proud, okay? But we build those beds and somebody else goes and works with the folks that actually have the need. My personal favorite are what I'd call the interpersonal participative ones. That's the ones where we are interacting with the veterans. We are with them. These are the best of all to me. Many of us know that our time may be the most valuable thing that we can give, okay? And I find that for the employees, they get so much. You get so much more back out of it in those participative events, and especially with our veterans. You get to learn a lot, and the grace, even with the experiences they've been through, the grace that they have and the thankfulness for our country and us comes through, and you get great rewards out of that. Two of those I would highlight is the Tutfan Veterans Home, which I participated in a lot. We host Christmas parties, other holiday parties with them, bingo night, which is a lot of fun. And it's just a wonderful experience for all. The staff tells us that the veterans really, really look forward to that event. They're lonely. It's a highlight in their lives, and I know it is for us and our employees. And the other one I would mention is the Fisher House at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Our employees down there have been big participants there. And again, they do fundraisers for them. They do parties and events and have meals with them at the Fisher House. And that team was designated or voted the biggest fan for 2023 for Fisher House at Eglin. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm really happy for our employees because I know what you get back out of that. We want our employees to be about more than work and have well-rounded lives, and for many of us, that's part of having a well-rounded life.
Awesome. Well, Larry, it's so clear to see your passion for supporting and giving back to the veteran community. So thank you so much for the work that you and Axient are doing to do so. And I really appreciate you joining us today to tell us all about it.
Then thank you for the opportunity.